It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little over a month since I've posted anything. I've been a little busy with getting these floors installed, and I have to say I do love them. I still have baseboards I need to put up throughout the house. So this room we're in now is gonna be my exercise room. So I bought a new power rack from Mikolo. I bought some new rubber flooring to protect the brand new floors and give me a nice, gym feel. And I also bought a new bench. I have some other items coming as well. So I'll link everything in the description below, but I'm gonna take you step by step on installing the rubber mat, installing and building the power rack and the bench. So these rubber floors come in like a jigsaw puzzle where you can just put them piece by piece. It's pure rubber all the way through. Some of the items on Amazon that you find are gonna be like a thick foam with a thin rubber coating, and those are fine. I just wanted something thin that's rubber all the way through, because some of the foam, I've seen comments where, it might not stay flat. You put heavy equipment on it, it's gonna really, put a divot in it, and I didn't want any deformation in my flooring, just in case, it's a tripping hazard. It doesn't really look good. So we'll be installing these 2x2, 24x24 inch rubber mats, intersecting them together. There's a nice blue flake here. Okay, so the first step is to find our midpoint on this wall. So the entire length from where the door is when it's open to that wall is 127.5. So half of that is what, 63 3/4? So I'm gonna measure 63 3/4 off this wall. 63 3/4, about right in the middle of that piece of tape. So I'm gonna need, since these are 24x24, I want a 10x10 square. I need 5x5 square connecting these together. So one of these in half is gonna have to be my midpoint. So basically what I need to do, start in the midpoint here, get two more over here, two more over here, get this perpendicular to that wall and parallel to this one the best I can, and then just lay out my grid. I'm gonna give it about 1 inch off this wall because I still gotta lay some baseboard behind here, but this is gonna be my starting point. So let me go grab a bunch more and we'll finish up. So I'm on the last piece. I'll try to get you guys a good view of kind of how these things go together. I have a little bit of a pop-up here, and I think it's just because these things have a little bit of intolerance in them, which is fine. So I'm gonna lay this last piece and try to flip it like a sheet to try to get it to lay a little bit more flat, but ultimately it should kind of self-level over time. I have found a good way to kind of get these in here is to either go in one at a time and then kind of fold it in, or just take both, fold them in. That way these two teeth kind of get into this part, and then you can just kind of wiggle around this edge and then do the same thing. Just kind of shove them in, get this edge to lay flat. It's a little tedious though, I'm not gonna lie. A little bit more difficult than I was imagining, but not too bad. You just kind of have to be patient with it. Eventually it'll just kind of lay into place. gonna come back to this in a second, but I'm gonna finish up these. Actually, I'm gonna give this a little tug this direction. There we go. I was doing over there to get it, the joints to kind of sit a little flush. Let's just kind of do this a little bit. Some of the joints are gonna pop off. That's fine. But the overall goal is to relieve some of the stress in the middle and the corners. So just work around. Don't go too crazy flapping it, or all your joints are gonna come loose. But it just kind of relieves the tension in some key points. But I mean, it looks pretty dang good. I'm not gonna lie. All right, guys. So obviously the power rack and the bench is put together. You know, to me, it functions just like I was expecting. But the next part of the video is gonna be the time lapse of me putting everything together. There's gonna be a couple pictures and some spots where I slow the video down to really kind of explain things or show, for example, which pulley goes on the right upright, which one goes on the left upright, those kinds of small details that the instructions, yeah, they're there and they're clear, but the images are kind of small and you kind of just have to do some trial and error. So just go through the time lapse. Feel free to pause it at any part where I have some contextual information. And then of course you'll get to see me almost get my head chopped off. So I hope you guys enjoy that. All right, so you're gonna get a little bit of a narrative as well. Step one, the hardest part is figuring out what's your right side upright, your left side upright, and the correct pulley orientation for right and left. The base connecting frame for step two, you have to remove one of the pulleys in the back of the right-hand side connecting frame in order to get clearance to feed a bolt through, because that's where the barbell storage sleeve was installed for me. Step three, I start dealing with bolt and nut sizes that aren't matching the wrenches they gave me. A couple of these bolts, they gave me a double-sided wrench, 22 and 24 millimeter, and a 17 and 19. However, the bolts, they're not a 17, they actually fit a 16 millimeter socket for these smaller ones. So I'm stuck with really using the adjustable wrench with my ratchet, or not ratchet, but my drill. But whatever, make do with what you got. So once I grabbed the correct socket out of the garage, I basically just put it on my impact and used my adjustable wrench to hold the bolt head in place as I impacted the nuts on and then installed the rest of it. Okay, so I've got these main upright supports in. I have my fan here, which where the pull-up handle goes, it's gonna be close, but I think if I turn it off or remove it, I might have to remove the fan. I don't know, but whatever. Everything's just kind of bolted loosely right now. I'll go back and tighten everything once I get the top cross connectors and back cross connectors on and everything and get it pushed back where I want it. It's coming together okay. Let's just keep on going. So follow along, let's do it. So with the upper connecting frames, the easiest way to go about it was to just put my bolts and kind of angle them down in the front and rear part of the frame. That way, when I put the connecting frame up there, I was able to just maneuver that bolt through the rest of the holes. That made process a lot easier. Well, that's not good. You're fucking kidding me, right? You're fucking kidding me, right? That didn't just happen. It did just happen. Holy shit, man. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. That's exactly what I was worried of happening too. Nobody saw that. Wow, that's crazy. All right, so we have a little tipping danger when we put this on. So I'm gonna use this to assist in making sure it's flat and it doesn't tip. There. So if that goes tipping this way, that hits, and then it slams into the door and the wall. So lesson learned. Let's slowly move this over. All right, so once I recovered from that embarrassment, it was just moving and centering everything where I wanted it to be. So I took my tape measure out, make sure everything was square and parallel to the wall, just like I wanted. Then came the upper connecting side-to-side pieces, the pegboard and the pull-up frame. Same thing here, just angle your bolts in there. Okay, so we have the majority of the frame ready to go, all completed. I'm gonna go ahead, square everything up, level it, tighten everything down with my drill, and then we'll take a little break, come back and finish it up. So finishing up step 6, I'm basically tightening all the bolts down. Everything is level and plumb, and I'm just making sure I get every bolt tight before I move on to additional steps. So another day goes by, now it's time to start putting the Smith machine parts together. The guide rods were pretty easy to put in there. You just have to read the instructions and make sure you put the safety bar or safety catch in the correct orientation. There's a couple pieces for that. Installing the bar onto the brackets that connect to the guide rods, pretty simple and straightforward. So installing the weight stacks was a little bit nerve-wracking because those bottom poles just kind of stick into a little indentation and then they lean out and you're slightly scared that everything's just gonna pop out of that hole, but everything went pretty smoothly. And the most difficult part was putting the bolt through the very top weight. It did not really want to go in very easily. I had to use a rubber mallet. So when you're installing the cables, be very careful to make sure you are between the pulley and the pulley retainers. So putting together the weight bench was simple. There was basically 2 or 3 bolts for the frame. You're basically just bolting on the back and the seat So it was very, very easy. It's kind of heavy to get it out of the box and move it around, but I mean, putting it together was a cinch. It didn't really take any time at all. And I'll have to say the weight bench was extremely comfortable. I am glad I purchased this instead of going up to Walmart and getting something else, because I'm extremely happy with this. But like I said, there's 2 bolts for the seat and then 3 bolts for the back, and you just tighten them up. Just try not to over crank them, just get them snug, maybe a quarter turn past snug, and they're good to go. All right, so would I buy everything again? You're damn right I would. The rubber floor is great. The power rack is great. I really like its functionality, and it takes up a minimal amount of space for being what it is. And the bench is extremely comfortable. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take you through some of the finer points of the power rack. The bench, it's a bench, it's a comfortable bench. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but I would buy it again, definitely. Sorry, dog calls. So let me take you through the power rack and show you these finer points. All right, so I really like what they did with the pulley system here. There's little nylon rollers, so it rolls up the rack instead of slides along it. And I think that would help prolong the life of the powder coating. So it's literally, you just pull it and up it goes. And there it is. Additionally, the pulleys themselves being aluminum, they're extremely smooth. There's no binding or anything like that. You know, even with a light weight, there's no back and forth motion. Of course, you want to make sure that you're lubing the guide rails appropriately, but I mean, I don't think I could get any better for having a pulley system inside the house that is extremely functional, can do a significant amount of weight, and fit in a home gym. It's comparable to what I have at work as far as the pulley system goes. What I don't have at work is the Smith machine component. And that for me, having something that I could use for a bench press or a shoulder press or a bar in general, that's something I don't have at work. So this is new for me and give me a lot of future flexibility and growth potential. So I'm extremely happy with this. The pull-up bar is very nice too. You know, there's knurling in the places where you want it. And you have a variety of different grips as well. It came with, you know, plenty good enough attachments for this. What it doesn't come with is a row bar to really be able to pull significant amount, but it does give you the foot pad. And, you know, however you want to place it up there on the pegboard, there's a lot of different options. I'm extremely happy with it. And once again, I would 100% recommend it if you could do it for the money. There's some lower cost options, but for me, this is working out pretty well and I'm excited to get to use it. So that's my review of the Mikolo Anubis 2.0 Ultimate while my dog is over there eating some rope. So thanks, that'll be fun to clean up. But until the next time, I say peace.